Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Marvel's Juggernaut. Not to be confused with anybody else's Juggernaut, this one's the Marvel one. And it is the Gamerverse version, which means it's basically Marvel vs. Capcom, or the X-Men game that they used the sprites from prior to that, but it's really Marvel vs. Capcom, you can tell. And it's, I'll just put it right out there, right out front. It's probably the best Juggernaut that we have available to us right now. But that doesn't mean this review is just going to be gushing and saying, oh, it's the best one ever, because that doesn't necessarily mean it's good. There's some good stuff about it for sure. There's some bad stuff about it for sure. And we're going to talk about all of that because this is a review. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. I already panned back all the way. I forgot it was really big. It's a very big package. You would be impressed if you had it in your hand. And it does look nice. It's very good. Juggernaut's not centered, but pretty good. They wouldn't be able to put him in the center because of the size of the accessories, so that's fine. It's a nice looking package. You get some sprite work back here, which isn't, or pixel art, I guess, isn't anywhere near as good looking as the previous releases. And then you get the back of the package, which I thought was interesting. Now, the reason I think this is interesting is you're buying Juggernaut, and instead of him being the 1 versus 3, which would make sense for Juggernaut anyway, they put him with Wolverine and Shumagorath, and just had crappy old Silver Samurai getting beat up. I don't get that. Shouldn't that have been him, like, over here as player 1? Right? And then these 3, or 3 other, like, not these 3, obviously, but 3 people being beaten up? Like, shouldn't they all have 0 health bars and then put Silver Samurai on the ground? That's just a weird thing to me. Like, 3 versus 1 against a shitty Silver Samurai. I think that's funny. Anyway, the worst figure in the bunch got beat up by Juggernaut. Okay, so anyway, packaging's good as usual. It's fine. So here's the figure. It's not in stock right now at Big Bad Toy Store, but obviously it was. That's how I got mine. It's up for pre-order technically, which means they're just waiting for more inventory. So I'll put a link in the description below if you want to get one of these guys. And if you're collecting Marvel Legends, you probably should. He's one of the better releases, but he definitely has his fair share of issues, which we will talk about. So he stands just about 20, let's just call it 24 centimeters to the top of the noggin. The way I have him posed, you can shift the head a little bit, so that might change. About 9.5 inches, which I'm told is good enough. And he's about double, not practically double, but like in real life, if you saw that guy, you'd say he's the size of 2 men in terms of height, but he's about the size of 10 men overall, because he is just massive. This is a very heavy figure. Now, before we get into any more details, I want to just compare him against every other Juggernaut I could get my hands on in terms of molds. I didn't get out both of the previous Marvel Legends ones because they're the same thing. But there's this one, obviously. Here's the one that matches this guy the most. That's the other Marvel Legends Juggernaut. And there's a different color scheme for that guy available. I think it was a Build-A-Figure forever ago. So there's that. Then this is the original Marvel Legends Juggernaut, which obviously looks kind of goofy, but for the time was a pretty excellent figure. I mean, obviously it has its fair share of issues, like lots and lots of issues, but still. And then we have this one, which actually has been reissued a few times, as Marvel Select figures do. Mine happens to be the one that has the different colored helmet. You can get different color schemes depending on what you're buying. If you only see a stock photo, there's no telling which version you're going to get. So I wouldn't buy one of these if you care about the particular color scheme, unless you can actually see a photo of it. Some of them have an entirely different color scheme than this guy, so be aware of that. But okay, let's get this one aside. Nobody's really comparing against that, I think, anymore. And so it's these two probably, and this one that you would want to pick from. And so we can whittle that down. We'll just get rid of that one. It's pretty bad. Really, really bad. And now, so you have these two, which are very close in size. This one's a little bit bigger, and it's $65. This one's $30 when it came out, and they have been forever. So he's probably up now because they aren't reissuing him anymore, but that's what he cost originally. Obviously less articulation on this guy, but way more sculpt. That's how Marvel Select figures are, so you can decide what you'll want. If you're collecting Marvel Legends at this point, you should just go with this one. I'll just tell you that. There's no need to get a different one, just get this one. But it does have issues, so that's why we're going to do the review like we normally do. Okay, let's, well, I have too many juggernauts. Let me move these out of the way. That's probably good enough. Okay, let's do a quick question of the day. For you guys who are collecting these Gamerverse figures, are you collecting them just because there are usually better versions of the comic-based ones, or are you buying them because they are Gamerverse? They are from the games, give or take. Let me know. For me, I guess it's a little bit of both, technically, but I'm a big Marvel vs. Capcom fan. I played the pants off of that game back in the day. So, well, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But that's why I like them for both reasons. Okay, so let's talk about the aesthetic on this guy. First thing to note is he's big. I don't know, he feels very disjointed, especially in the shoulders and the crotch area. And the reason for that is, well, it's twofold for this guy. We'll talk about it more when we get to the articulation, but they made his chest really, really skinny. If you look, his chest is narrower than his hips. So that's really weird because of the butterfly joint they put in. So that makes this area look really weird and disconnected. The other part is the way they did the shoulders. He's got this big meaty shoulder, but then this little sphere inside that connects it. So it's not organic looking. It's not sleek, or not sleek. That's not the right word. It's just not connected. It's not well designed in that sense. And then the crotch on this guy is just, they didn't really try at all to make it look good. It hardly looks any better than the one from Toy Biz. See how he's got those giant gaps because of the ball joints? Well, this guy has the giant gaps too, and you don't need that if you do it right. So it does make him look a little segmented, and with a big chunker like this guy, making it look more segmented is not beneficial because he's already got really weird proportions. You want to make that look as organic as possible. This does not, so that's a bit of a bummer. The main issue, though, I think, is the chest. It really throws off the look. Now, once you pose him, that'll go away, but we still have to talk about it because plenty of people pose their figures in hero poses because they don't have room or whatever. So, it's definitely an issue that they didn't give him any sort of sculpt work or mass over here. It's just the butterfly joint, which it's going to be useful if you want the butterfly joint, but this is one of those age-old questions. Butterfly joint or sculpt? Frankly, for me, for a character like this, freaking sculpt. For sure. I don't need that extra little bit of range. Like, will it be useful sometimes? Absolutely. But 99% of the time, he's going to look weird. So, I would definitely prefer to have a big, broad chest to make him look correct. And speaking of that, it's not accurate to the source at all. So, that's a thing. I've seen other people say he needs to be way bigger, and that is true. If you want him to match the game, like, even if you're not going exactly for the game, because he's got the giant hands and stuff, it's still weird. Like, his height is good, but he's pretty lean for the video game version of Juggernaut. So, it does look a little bit strange, and then you have things like the helmet being the wrong shape. It's, like, sticking up, like, in the comics more, and, like, some of the artwork, but it doesn't match the rest of the artwork, because the artwork where his head sticks up more, he's got like hero-shaped legs rather than giant sausages. So they just kind of went all over the place, as Hasbro usually does, without a good, consistent design philosophy. Does that make the figure terrible? No, not at all. But it's certainly not anywhere near as good as it could have been, considering it's all new sculpt. You know, they could have made it however they wanted. So I think it's a little bit of an issue that he's not perfectly accurate to the source material, and as a result looks a little goofy. But for what we do have, there's some things that are nice. This part being textured here is pretty cool, but it's kind of weird because it's the only thing. Everything else might as well just be skin or suit or spandex or whatever. It's like a regular Marvel Legends in that there's nothing to indicate this is anything other than flesh, and same thing here. So in terms of texturing and sculpt work, it doesn't really work. I mean, this part's nice, but it would be nice to see other, like, I guess there's technically some texture up here, and I do like the way they sculpted the face on his helmet, and the face inside is okay, so that's fine. The skin plastic is just bare plastic, other than where they painted the veins, and it's okay. It's a little shiny. It's not the best color, but it'll do. They did paint the veins. They look okay, I guess. It's kind of a weird color choice, but also the things they put paint on are kind of weird on this figure. We have a little bit of this really crappy line work shading that doesn't even fall into the right spots. So you get like a V there on the quads. You get a little bit on the chest there. Is it anywhere else? I don't think it is. Yeah, I don't think he has any more paint anywhere else for shading. So you have the veins, the V's in that, and then they painted his freaking fingernails in a weird way. Like, I get what they're doing, obviously. I know what fingernails look like. I have them. But why, Hasbro? Who gives a shit about the fingernails on Juggernaut? Paint the figure. Like, you couldn't put a wash on him somewhere or paint the lines or make him the right colors. Yeah, he's not accurate color-wise either to the game. So it's super weird that they put fingernail paint on him. Like, that is just the strangest thing. You know, somebody was like, oh, this will be really cool if we do this. We've never done this before. And it's like, no, it's not. It's dumb. Why? Who cares about the fingernails when the rest of the figure has no paint on it? It looks like plastic. He's very shiny. I mean, not very shiny, but he's pretty shiny too. So it's like, it's not anywhere near as impressive as it could have been for being an all-new figure. I already said it's the best Juggernaut out there, so you can't get mad at me. But it doesn't mean it's a perfect Juggernaut. There's all kinds of issues with this guy, and we've covered a lot of them. So yeah, he's fine for a generic Juggernaut. He doesn't look like the game, really. He's closer than anything else, though. So for the aesthetic, considering it's expensive, it shouldn't be $65. I'd say it's probably closer to $50, realistically, not with the Marvel Legends tax. Yeah, he's just a 7. He's not anything special. For all new sculpt, he should be almost perfect, and he's not. And they're not going to do a better Juggernaut than this at some point, so it's not like they're even holding out. Like, maybe they'll reissue this guy in different colors, but they're not going to resculpt him. Not for another 10 years. I mean, if that. So, it's disappointing to me that a brand new figure is still not anywhere close to accurate. So far, Wolverine is by far the best one, even though he's too tall. Alright, so as far as accessories go, you get the 2 fist hands, you get the 2 open hands. I guess they're fine. I don't understand this one, by the way. Lots of figures from Marvel Legends get this hand. What are you supposed to do with that exactly? Because if you're holding something that's this size, these fingers wouldn't be sticking out. It's just weird. Like, you could put it on someone's head, I guess, kind of. Like, you could pick someone up by the head. Nope, he can't. Not at least not Darwin. So I don't know about that gripping hand. And then you get the punchy effect, which is pretty cool. That's all right. It's not bad. It's good enough. So yeah, that just swaps out for the knuckle duster type thing. So 7 out of 10, that's fine. There's nothing special about it, and it's reasonable for this character. Alright, so now let's talk about the articulation, because this is also a huge problem for this guy. And it's not just because he's chunky and can't pose, I get that. But he has problems otherwise. So first of all, his head, it moves around a little bit on the neck. Kind of. It goes forward and back, and you can rotate it a little bit. And it's fine. Like, I don't think anybody's ever going to lean it back. It looks a little weird to me. I guess you could. Yeah, either way, it's fine. But it doesn't look like the game, because in the game he doesn't look like this. So it's fine, though. Like, he gets a little bit of range, whatever. You already saw the butterfly joint. It looks like it should go really far back, but it doesn't. Because Hasbro doesn't make good toys most of the time. And it goes forward, so that's fine. Does it go forward enough to sacrifice the sculpt? I don't know. Like, once you put him in a pose that you need to put him in, it'll be fine. But would it really have hurt them to have the pose be out here? Yeah, probably not. And I think this chest is better, but that's a personal thing. You guys let me know how you feel about that. For the shoulders, we have the ball hinge, but I already showed you. We have the meat here and then the ball on the inside, so range is crap, and it looks weird. If this was just the same size as the shoulder, going all the way in to the body, that would have looked so much better. It would have functioned better, too. Of course, you get your full rotation. Your bicep swivel is just the floating swivel here, and you get your other swivel down here at the elbow, and not even 90 degrees. So the interesting thing about this is they cut out part of his gauntlet, or whatever you want to call it, his wrist bracer, for no reason. Doesn't have any better range anyway. He has not even 90-degree range. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge, so that's fine. The diaphragm joint on this guy, he leans forward pretty well. He leans back pretty well. Side to side is pretty good, so that's a good joint. Oh, he's got super kung fu action. Hasbro is getting worse at making joints function properly. That's nuts. That is nuts. For a big guy like this, you're going to end up breaking him if you try, because you can really put some torque on that. It's not going. And he really, like, I'm making a joke. He's not supposed to be able to, he's not spring loaded. It's just a bad joint for the rotation, so that sucks. And that's it for the torso. So good luck not breaking it. Same thing with this, because it feels to me like they did the faceted hips again. I can't see inside enough to say for sure. Yes, I can. They are faceted. The ball pegs that go inside the hips should never be anything but perfectly smooth spheres. And Hasbro doesn't understand that. That's why that battle damaged Spider-Man kept breaking for everyone. Hasbro sucks, is what the answer is. And that's the same thing here. He's got the Kung Fu action down here also because of the faceted joint. Like, maybe you can find a spot where it'll stay. I've got this one down here and this one right here, but otherwise it doesn't want to work. You're going to eventually twist that off or just shred the crap out of the inside of the hip, and then it's going to be a loose, floppy mess. So the hip design is not good. But then you also have the lack of range. You can get the leg up to there, but I can't get it to stay all the way up because of that joint. But even when it goes up, it chews up the plastic here. So it's chewed up a bunch here and a little bit here. That's not very good. Going out to the side is alright. That's fine. Thigh swivel is fine. Single jointed knee. Garbage range. Like, he can't actually get into the pose from the game even. They put almost no effort into thinking about how to make this guy articulate. Ankles go back nicely though, so that's good. They go forward a little bit, and then you get a toe hinge, which is like... you know, I do have to give them some slack, because Hasbro's new to making action figures, that they would design this joint right here. Is anybody looking at this? Because, like, these guys have been making action figures for over 20 years now. And that's just crazy. That's really something. So he has a toe joint. Man, they put as little effort into making a brand new figure as they could possibly manage, and that's just nuts to me. It doesn't cost more to do it right the first time when you're doing it for the first time. Just, oh man. So his articulation's really bad. You can kind of get him into a pose close to the one that people want to do from the game, but not really. And then with the messed up shoulders that don't really go out to the side, the hips that don't really work, the toe hinge that sucks, the knees that don't bend, the elbows that don't bend, this is going to get like a 3 out of 10. They actually just said, well, he's big, so we don't have to try. And that's what happened. It doesn't have good posability. So, does this guy have good posability? No, but that doesn't matter. Like, being the best of a pile of garbage isn't really that much of an accomplishment. And I'm not saying they're all a pile of garbage, but you get my point. Alright, so now it's time for the final verdict on this guy. Is he the best Juggernaut? Do I like him the most? Yes, for sure. Do I like him enough to have him in my collection? Yes, for sure. But it's not that good of a figure, especially at $65. You know, I said something about one of the Spider-Man figures being $40 in those Magic the Gathering things, and somebody's like, $40 isn't a lot in today's world. It's like, it is compared to everything else you can buy for $40. Like, Hasbro's not the only company out there. We can see other companies doing way better things for the amount of money you're spending. And even still, most of the things I talk about on the Marvel Legends that need to change aren't things that would cost them more money. I mean, sometimes a little bit, but mostly it's not. Like, it's a brand new sculpt, make it the right way, that kind of thing. So yeah, for $65, this is not, it's heavy, it's a big chunky figure, so I'm sure people are going to be like, oh, it's worth it. It's not that good though. It's not that good. They need to do a better job. I don't think he's terrible, but he's not anywhere near as good as he should be, I guess is my point. So I'm going to wrap it up with a final rating of 7 out of 10. It's perfectly fine, but it's really not impressive other than it's big. And it looks kind of like the one from the game, but not really. So yeah, it's underwhelming, I think. It's fine, and that's it. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but that's it for me. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.